I just want you to feel like you can talk to me. I never want you to feel like you have to hide anything from me.
That's a line from a mother in season 1.
Right. And then it's repeated almost word for word by a brother in season 4. Once you see that connection, it unlocks this whole meticulous pattern.
A pattern of visual and narrative cues suggesting a character is hiding something fundamental about who they are.
Okay, so that's what we're doing today. A deep dive into the source material that suggests the character Mike Wheeler from Stranger Things has been subtly written as queer from the very beginning.
And we're going to be looking at this specifically through the recurring use of what the analysis calls closet imagery.
A journey that, it literally starts in a bedroom and seems to end with a sledgehammer.
Exactly. We're going to trace this pattern chronologically, moving from what might have been an accident in season 1 to something that feels very, very intentional by the final season.
And we should say, the creators, the Duffer Brothers, have gone on record saying, we don't believe in coincidences.
So we're basically just taking them at their word and looking for the breadcrumbs they've laid out.
And the first breadcrumb is in season 1, where the closet image is, it's an actual closet.
Right. Mike is hiding Eleven in his bedroom closet. He's protecting her, keeping her a secret.
Now, on first watch, everyone just saw that as an E.T. reference, hiding the alien in the closet.
And it is. But the analysis argues that the show later recontextualized that moment, turning it from a simple homage into the very first piece of symbolic imagery.
And they did it with dialogue. This is where that parallel we mentioned at the start becomes the anchor for the whole theory.
So let's set the scene. Season 1, Will has just disappeared. Mike's mom, Karen, is trying to get him to open up.
And she says that line to him, I want you to feel like you can talk to me. I never want you to feel like you have to hide anything from me.
A pretty standard comforting mom line. But now, let's jump to season 4.
To that really powerful scene in the van between Jonathan and Will.
Jonathan sees Will is struggling with his feelings for Mike, with his identity, and he gives him this complete acceptance speech.
And his line is an almost perfect echo. He says, I don't want you to forget that I'm here, and I'll always be here no matter what. There's nothing in this world that will ever change that.
So because those two conversations are so directly paralleled, mother to Mike, brother to Will, the argument is that Karen's original line gets a new meaning.
It retroactively becomes about Mike's sexuality, mirroring the way Jonathan is so clearly accepting Will's.
Exactly. If the writers use the same tool, this specific you don't have to hide speech for both boys, it strongly implies both boys are dealing with a similar need to hide something.
That makes so much sense. So that's the foundation. And if season 1 was the physical act of hiding in a literal closet,
then by season 3, the sources argue the metaphor becomes much more psychological. It shifts from closets to doors.
And to emotional distance, which makes sense for a season all about puberty and relationships.
And season 3 gives us what the sources call a queer-coded line. It's when Mike, trying to get away from Elle and Max, says, I have an idea, boys only.
And then they go into the men's locker room, and the camera does this very deliberate, slow pan up to the word men in.
You could just dismiss that, right? Just boys being clumsy teenagers.
But the show doesn't let it go.
No, it doesn't. Because later we see that same NN sign, but now the door is locked up. You can't get in. And Mike is right there in the scene.
So it's not just about exclusion anymore. It's about being locked out or locked in.
The visual is explicitly linked to closing off your feelings. The door itself becomes the symbol.
Which tracks perfectly with Mike's behavior in season 3. He's supposed to be this head-over-heels boyfriend to Elle.
But he's constantly pushing her away, avoiding physical touch. It's so awkward, and it's a stark contrast to how comfortable he was, physically with Will in the earlier seasons.
So the awkwardness establishes a pattern, not just a one-off thing.
And then the music department gets in on it. There's a song that plays during one of their fights, and the lyrics are something like, little uncertainty will bring you down.
Foreshadowing that the relationship is doomed because of his own internal, closed-off feelings.
So if season 3 was about locked doors, season 4 is where they basically take out a megaphone and just shout the subtext.
This is where we get what the source calls a masterclass in set design. The clues become almost impossible to ignore.
Okay, let's break down the scene where Elle visits Mike in California. She tells him, I love you too.
And the visual framing is everything here.
Everything. Mike is standing directly in front of Will's physical closet in Will's room when she says this.
So he's literally framed by the closet of the person he has this intense emotional bond with, right at the moment he's being confronted with this heterosexual expectation.
And his eyes go wide open. He's totally unresponsive. But that's not all.
The light.
The light. The set designers put a lamp right above his head.
The classic cartoon light bulb moment.
It's a pure visual metaphor for a realization clicking in his brain at that exact moment of pressure.
But wait, there's an audio cue here too, right? This is the part that really solidifies it.
Absolutely. The song playing during this realization, called The First I Love You, is the exact same piece of music that played an episode earlier.
During Robin's coming out scene.
The Tammy Thompson moment she shares with Steve.
So you have the same music linking Mike's internal crisis directly to a confirmed queer character's emotional breakthrough.
It's an unambiguous audio signpost. And the set design clues just keep coming in season 4.
In Mike's own room, back in Hawkins.
You see Elle's letter to him, and it's covered in rainbows.
Okay, that could be a nod to the rainbow room at the lab.
It could be. But right next to it
The arrow.
is a visible one-way arrow pointing directly at Mike's closet.
I mean, you can't make that up. And the show's set designers have said that they see these domestic sets as places to most contribute to storytelling and character development.
So if that's their mission statement, putting a giant arrow pointing at a closet is not an accident. It's a statement.
And it's not just the set. The narrative literally pushes him, too. He gets kicked out of the girls' room.
Elle tells him, not girls, go to that one. And he has to walk directly toward Will. The story itself is constantly redirecting him.
So by the time we get to season 5, the show is done with metaphor. It's time for demolition.
Exactly. The sources point to a tiny, quick clip where we see Ted Wheeler, Mike's dad, just destroying Mike's closet with a sledgehammer.
Symbolically, Mike can't hide anymore. The closet is coming down.
It's the physical destruction of the symbol that's been built up for 4 seasons.
And right after that destruction, we get a scene that hints at acceptance and preparation.
We see Murray, Robin, and Lucas all together.
Murray the matchmaker, Robin the queer guide who helped Will, and Lucas, who is theorized to be the one who helps Mike.
And they're trying to open a hatch, and they use the phrase open sesame.
An opening sequence.
The sources explicitly link this to the opening of the closet. It's like the support team is assembling, getting ready to open up this hidden space.
And then the metaphor gets one last huge dramatic test.
Mike and Will are physically holding a door shut against soldiers.
Containing their feelings under pressure.
And you can see water leaking out from under the door. Water, which so often symbolizes, overwhelming emotion.
And they fail. They can't hold the door shut.
They can't. The water bursts through, their feelings escape, and in that moment, the camera zooms in tight, just on Mike.
The source argues that this final zoom, as the metaphorical door breaks, is the last push. It's the show telling us his coming out is about to happen.
The door is literally broken down, first by his dad with a hammer, and now by the plot itself.
So this raises a big question for you listening to this. Why go to all this trouble?
I mean, we've traced a really specific pattern, right? From a possible accident in season 1 to the dialogue parallels to that one-way arrow, the lock sign, shared music.
And finally to symbolic destruction.
The creator's use of repetition and visual language seems designed to give the really curious viewer this entire other story, a subtext that's been running just beneath the surface the whole time.
So what does this mean for you now? Well, you have the tools, a kind of chronological guide, to go back and rewatch and connect all these dots.
And you can turn what might feel like dense subtext into a really clear, cohesive story. The consistency of their method is what's so compelling.
It's a masterclass in using every single toolset design, music, camera work to tell a story about identity that goes way beyond just what the characters say out loud.
So with all of that in mind, considering the sheer amount of symbolism, the arrow, the music, the doors, there's one final thought from the source material for you to just sort of mull over.
If all of this was done to break down the barrier between Mike and the truth of his feelings, then I highly doubt his long-term goal is friendship.
If you enjoy this video, please like, share, subscribe and hit the bell to the later update from my channel. Thank you for watching till the end and see you in the next video.